Hello, friends. Hello, professionals. Welcome to my channel, The Sea of Regulation. My name is Simone Martin, and a huge thank you for those of you that have already subscribed. Now, let me get some legal disclaimers out of the way. First of all, yes, I'm a financial services regulator. Remember, we are people too. Maybe we're silent. But, anyways, so yes, the views on this channel are my own. They do not represent any regulatory authority or international standard setting body. I am not a lawyer. This is not financial advice. This is not professional advice. This is not legal advice. This is just my opinion and hoping to have a discussion with you. So today's topic is actually on careers in regulation. And no, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. I'm not telling you to come and be a regulator. I think there are four career paths within regulatory authorities that are often overlooked. And so let's dive in. First, as project managers. Second, data analysts. Third, software assurance engineers. And fourth, you have training and development managers. So each one of them have a special role within a regulatory authority. And the first one, the project managers, every day, regulators around the world are challenging. You might have heard of some of them in the news recently, but we're not getting into that. When you look at all of the things that are being thrown at regulators, it is often a resulting issue to integrate it into the business. And so what you need is a project manager to help all of those moving parts. There's always something that's changing, especially international standards. But more recently, regulators are really challenged by technology, fintech, everything tech. So they have to redesign their systems. They have to address a number of issues. And it's just sometimes a little too difficult for you to add on as your day job if you are a regulator. So if you're a project manager, consider looking for a job opportunity with your nearest regulatory authority. Or if you want to travel, you can go further afield because there's a lot of opportunities in that area. The second one, data analysts. Regulators sit on a ton of data. And I think it is, it is increasingly current in that the information that they get is live. It's not like how it used to be even 20 years ago where you wait for prudential returns, they come in, you analyze them. This is dated information. By the time you get to it, it might be a little while after the fact, or even audited financial statements, they get that information in. It takes the audit is at a particular point in time. You might get it 3 to 6 months afterwards. By the time you analyze it, that's historic data. I mean, that's like 2 centuries ago for all intents and purposes, depending on how you're looking at the information and the financial sector that you're looking at. So it's important for people to be on the team that can analyze the data, or as I like to say, intelligently interrogate the data. Because having the data and not doing anything with it is probably a waste of time for most regulators. And so the regulators are increasingly looking to persons who can assist with analysis, research, projections, regression analysis. If you're into this stuff, you need to look into a job within your nearest regulator. I think it's a great career opportunity. The third job is a software quality assurance engineer. Now I had to look that up. What is that? Coders. People who code, people who can read certain codes and write certain codes. With the advent of fintech, the integration of white papers into existing financial institutions or new entrants into the regulated space, you need someone who can actually analyze that code and tell the regulators whether it makes sense. And they themselves can also hold a really important job in that particular space. Now, I considered for a time teaching myself Python. No. Regulators hardly have the time to do the jobs that they are tasked with. It is a demanding job. Sometimes it is thankless. A lot of people don't understand the importance of it. And you tend to only know about your regulator when something is going terribly wrong. But outside of all of that, at times it's really difficult for regulators to integrate these new concepts. And so why not add people to the team who can add value to what we do? So if you code And if you're interested in a career in regulation, I'd definitely recommend you consider that. Now, the fourth, training and professional development managers. Because things change so often, regulators are always being trained. And you need to coordinate not only the training that they need for today, but for the things that are going to be happening tomorrow. What do your regulators need from you? What do regulators need to know? What do they need to understand? Especially in the virtual asset service provider space. So that's your cryptocurrency exchanges and, people who are into NFTs and they're creating them for a multitude of purposes. You need to actually consider what the skill sets are for these people who will be actually regulating in this space. And there's some who are in the crypto community that think, you know what, it's not for me, but it's actually important for us to be trained in that space and to understand it. Now, I know I said four things, but the fifth, there's a bonus. A fifth thing is a behavioral scientist. It might seem completely out of line, but this is my personal view. There's no such thing as a good or bad company or corporation. It is the people. And so what you'll see is that regulators are going after not the firms and hitting them with penalties that, doesn't even make a dent in their bottom line. They pay the penalty and then they pay themselves dividends and keep on trucking. It's the people that you have to look to that set the tone from the top. And you can look at some cases. I know the Wells Fargo example in 2016 was a really good example of how the tone from the top failed the organization on a whole and caused just absolute chaos. And I mean, the repercussions were such that shareholder activists got in. They asked for persons from the board to be removed. Regulators got in. There were federal committee hearings. I mean, it was just a disaster. For a regulator, it was kind of like regulatory porn, though. I will admit, I did watch with a lot of interest. But with that said, you have to look at the mind of the people behind the organizations. And I think behavioral scientists is a future job for regulators. Now, those are some of the opportunities. But if you can think of a job that I haven't mentioned, put it in the comment below. Tell me how you think that would add value to a regulatory authority or even an international standard setter, because they have needs as well. But I think that I've covered quite a few things. So at this stage, I would just want you to if you like the content, it will really help out the algorithms. And again, we're people too. So, think of our feelings. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and comment and share the video. And I'll look forward to you. And this is it, guys. Thank you for watching.